You're already overpaid for what you do here, Marlene. I was sitting across from him. Cliff Dandridge, my manager of nearly 5 years, clutching a printed spreadsheet of salary benchmarks I'd spent 3 hours compiling. My palms were sweating. I hate confrontation, but I'd finally built up the courage to ask for a raise, $12,000 more a year. That's $1,000 a month. That's groceries, utilities, and half my mortgage in Cincinnati. Cliff leaned back in a Herman Miller chair that probably cost more than my car's down payment and let out a full, amused laugh. Not a smirk, not a chuckle. A real laugh, like I just pitched him a stand-up set. "Where'd you get these numbers?" he scoffed. "Glassdoor, please. Those sites are pipe dreams." "You're a reporting specialist, Marlene, not a department head. Here's the thing, I am the department. But I'll get to that. I'm Marlene Foster, I'm 41, and I've been quietly holding up the reporting division at Evercore Logistics since mid-2020. We're a regional freight analytics firm that contracts with carriers and warehousing ops across the Midwest. And I'm good at what I do. So good that vendors bypass support and email me directly because they know I'll fix it. Fast. Before I dive deeper into this mess, do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I need to know I'm not the only one who's ever felt this small, this replaceable, this done. So there I am, watching my boss laugh in my face, and something inside me gives out. Not loudly, just a quiet little snap like an old rubber band that's finally had enough. The market rate, from my experience, is between $78,000 and $85,000. I said, reading from my notes, I'm currently making $62,000. Market rate. Cliff repeated like I'd spoken Latin. "Marlene, we're not Amazon," he said. "We're not some coastal tech circus. We're a family business." Family business. I wanted to scream. Evercore might have started with his dad's trucking roots back in the 80s, but we've got 50 employees now and national clients. "I haven't had a real raise in 3 years, I said. "Cost of living bumps don't count. You got moved to lead reporting analyst 18 months ago, with a 2% increase that still counts," Cliff says. I can feel my cheeks burn. "Cliff, I trained the last 3 people you hired. I cover for Sam every Friday, and I rebuilt the client reporting system when it crashed in February." He shrugs. "You did your job." He's not laughing now, but his voice has this sharpness that makes me want to melt into the carpet. "Look, I get it. Everyone wants more money. But you're 41. You live alone? No kids? No major obligations?" And there it is, the sentence that makes me want to flip his desk. What does my personal life have to do with the value of my work? What does not having kids have to do with whether I deserve to be paid fairly? That's not really relevant. It is, he interrupts. "Tamara has 3 kids and a mortgage. Sam's planning a wedding. They have real expenses. Tamara, who I covered through 2 maternity leaves. Sam, who takes extended lunches and calls me at 8:45 p.m. to fix reports he ignored all day. I should leave. I should thank him and walk out with whatever pride I have left. But I just sit there silent, staring at the salary charts I brought. You're doing fine, Marlene. You're dependable. But a 19% raise? That's not realistic. Maybe we revisit this next year." Next year? Always next year. I finally stand. My knees feel unsteady. "Okay. Thanks for your time." "Don't look so down," he adds with a smile that makes me nauseous. "You've got time. You'll move up eventually." I walk back to my desk, far corner of the floor, wedged between the jam-prone printer and the break room microwave. 4 years in that same spot, watching others get offices while I build their onboarding guides. Jennifer from HR passes and gives me a look that says she knew. Like maybe everyone knew how this meeting would go except me. I try to focus on the Coldwell account review due tomorrow, but Cliff's voice echoes in my head. "You're already overpaid." The way Cliff said it so casual, like it was obvious, made me feel like I was dumb for even asking. My phone buzzed. A text from my sister. "How'd it go?" I didn't reply. Here's the thing about staying in one place too long. You start absorbing their opinion of you. You start believing maybe you are overpaid. Maybe you are lucky to be here. Maybe asking for more is greedy. That night, I walked into my overpriced one-bedroom apartment, the one Cliff used to justify why I didn't need a raise, and opened my laptop. I didn't do it to make a statement. I didn't do it for revenge. I was just tired. Tired of scraping by. Tired of watching less capable people get promoted. Tired of apologizing for wanting better. Updating my LinkedIn took 3 hours. My history, my skills, my wins. I'd led client accounts worth over $2 million, built the dashboard that closed the Buckeye Freight deal, trained 6 people, all now earning more than me. I'm fluent in Python, SQL, R, and Tableau. Master's degree in statistics from the University of Michigan. On paper, I look damn good. I toggled open to work and went to bed. The next morning, 11 messages. Recruiters, hiring managers, people who saw value in what I'd built. One message stood out, Marlene. I came across your profile and would love to speak about a senior data strategist position with Argonne Health. Your logistics background is exactly what we need. Senior, not associate, not analyst. I was still trying to process it when Cliff walked past my cubicle. Morning, Mar? Feeling better today? Yeah, I said. I lied. Good. That's what I like to hear. Oh, and can you double-check the Coldwell presentation before Sam's nervous about the numbers? Of course he is. At noon, I sat in my car engine, off taking a recruiter call from a firm in Boston. For the first time in years, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't begging. I was wanted. The woman on the phone is named Diana Vasquez, and she's with Clearview Medical Systems. They're searching for someone to lead their analytics team for a major platform overhaul. The position is remote flexible, she explains. Salary range is between $120,000 and $150,000, depending on experience. I go silent long enough that she asks Marlene, "Still with me?" "Yeah, sorry. That's the salary for this role." Given your background, she says we'd likely come in around $130,000 to start with 6-month performance reviews. $130,000, more than double my current salary. She continues, it's a time-sensitive hire. Would you be available for a video interview later this week? I schedule it for Thursday at lunch. Then I line up another for Friday. By week's end, I'm juggling recruiter calls like I've launched a secret side business. I'm taking interviews in my car at a Panera, even in the supply closet. It's exhausting and thrilling because here's what I'm realizing: I'm not overpaid. I'm not even paid fairly. I'm wildly underpaid. Every recruiter I talk to quotes numbers starting 40 to 50K higher than what Cliff pays me. Some offers go beyond that. The Clearview interview. It goes really well. Well enough that Diana calls me 2 hours later to schedule a second round with the department lead. Friday afternoon, I'm pretending to review logistics dashboards when my phone buzzes with an unknown number. Another recruiter, probably. And if you're still with me, if this story felt like a chapter you've lived yourself, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Not just for me, but for the next part of this journey. Because trust me, what comes after choosing yourself is where the real story begins. I step outside. Marlene, this is Kevin Waldrop from Tennard and Blackwell Consulting. My breath catches. I'd sent them a resume Wednesday night. Didn't expect to hear back? We're looking for someone to lead analytics strategy for our East Coast health sector clients. Director level. Fully remote with quarterly travel. Director. I've never held that title. We reviewed your portfolio. Honestly, you're exactly what we need. He doesn't hesitate. Base salary is $240,000 plus bonuses, averaging 15-20% full benefit stock options. I grip the phone tighter. $240,000, more than 4 times what I make at Evercore. Would you be open to a video interview? Monday morning. Yes, I say, barely keeping my voice steady. Yes, I would. Full benefit stock options. Relocation support the works, Kevin says. Would you be open to learning more? $240,000. I'm standing outside my office in downtown Cincinnati, watching traffic crawl by. And this man is telling me I'm worth more than I ever believed possible. Yes, I managed to say. Absolutely. Great. Any chance you'd be available for a video call Monday morning? Our hiring managers open at 10 a.m. Eastern. I schedule the call and walk back inside like I've stepped into someone else's movie. Because this kind of thing doesn't happen to women like me. Women like me stay loyal. We settle. We rationalize crumbs as blessings. Apparently not anymore. The interview with Tennard and Blackwell is Monday. Clearview's second round is Tuesday. 3 more are on deck for later in the week. And the wildest part, I'm good at this. When I'm not desperate, when I know my worth, I can talk about my work without shrinking, without apologizing. By Wednesday, Diana from Clearview calls. We'd like to extend an offer, she says. $135,000 starting remote optional. 4 weeks vacation, health insurance that actually covers things. I'm sitting in my car again, parked behind a Starbucks, because I don't dare take these calls at work anymore. This is a formal offer, she continues. We'll send you the paperwork this afternoon. How are you feeling? How am I feeling? I want to drive to Evercore right now and throw my badge on Cliff's desk. I want to scream and laugh and cry all at once. It's a strong offer, I tell her. Can I have a few days to think it over? Of course. Take your time. Thursday morning, Kevin calls again. Marlene, we'd like to make you a formal offer as well. I should be shocked, but I'm not. Not anymore. We're offering $280,000 base with 20% performance bonuses. Stock vests over 4 years. 5 weeks vacation. Dental vision. Company laptop, home office stipend, full travel coverage. I blink. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? 280, he says. We're putting it all on the table because we don't want to lose you. And for the first time in years, someone means it. It's the top of our range, Kevin says. But after reviewing your work, we don't want to risk losing you. Losing me. Like I'm the kind of person who gets multiple 6-figure offers. Like I have options. That's an incredible offer, Kevin. And you're an incredible candidate. When would you be available to start? That question hits hard. When would I be ready to leave behind 4 years of being told I should settle? When I give 2 weeks notice, I say, I'd be ready by Monday the 18th. Perfect. I'll send over the paperwork this afternoon. Take the weekend to review and we'll touch base Monday. I sit in my car parked under the crumbling maple outside the office, just staring at my phone. 280 alsazones lals. I whisper the number out loud like it might vanish. I walk back through the office in a daze. Past Cliff's corner office and his ergonomic chair. Past Tamara, fumbling through another client call she should have passed to me. Past Sam scrolling his phone while monitoring a database refresh. And I see it clearly. For the first time in years, I really see it. They made me feel small, convenient, like wanting more made me a problem, but not anymore. I have 2 offers, both life-changing, and Monday morning I'm giving my notice. All weekend, I live in this surreal space hovering between present and future. I read the offer letters again and again, afraid they might disappear if I blink too long. Clearview, $135K, remote, start ASAP. Tennard and Blackwell, $280K. Director level, stock. 5 weeks PTO. Life-changing. The smart move is obvious, Tennard. It's more than double what Clearview offered. More than my parents ever made combined. But some small part of me is still waiting for someone to call and say, actually, we made a mistake. Because I was never taught to expect this. But I'm learning now. I am the kind of person who gets these offers. I am someone people don't want to lose. Some part of me still expects a call. Monday morning saying, sorry, Marlene, we meant to offer half that. Because people like me don't get offers like this. Except, apparently, we do. I wake up at 5:00 a.m., wide-eyed. My alarm's not due until 6:30, but sleep's done with me. I spend the early hours rehearsing what I'll say to Cliff. How to be direct, not bitter. How to walk out with grace. I get to Evercore early, too early. The office is half-lit and nearly silent. Just a few others who either love their jobs or gave up fighting years ago. At my desk, I open a blank document and try to write my resignation letter. Dear Cliff, please accept this as formal notification. Delete. Cliff, I'm resigning, effective delete. This is to inform you that I am leaving God. Why is this so hard? How do you professionally tell a man who once laughed at your value that you're leaving for more than he probably makes? At 8:30, I see him walk in Starbucks in one hand, newspaper in the other. Same routine, sports section emails, then awkward hallway check-ins. I wait 20 minutes. Then I stand, grab the printed letter I finally managed to finish, and walk to his office. "Hey, Cliff, you got a minute?" "Sure. Come on in." He doesn't look up. "I was about to call you, actually. We need to revisit the Coldwell timeline." I sit down. "Actually, I came to talk about something else." Something in my voice makes him pause. "I'm giving my 2 weeks' notice." He finally looks up. "You're quitting?" "Yes." "What happened? Did someone say something to you?" And this is it. The moment I didn't know I was waiting for. I got an offer from a company that values my skills, that sees what I do. If this is about last week's raise talk, it's not about the talk, Cliff. It's about the outcome. He leans back, calculating like I'm a number in his quarterly report. But I'm not. Cliff's face shifts, calculating, trying to figure out how much trouble this will cause, who he'll dump my workload on, how long it'll take to replace me. "What kind of offer are we talking about?" he finally asks. Maybe there's room for negotiation. 2 weeks ago, those words would have floored me. They would have felt like a win. Now, they just make me tired. We're not even in the same ballpark, Cliff. Try me. I almost say it, 280 din at $1,000 just to watch his face go pale. But something stops me. Maybe it's professionalism, maybe it's strategy, or maybe I don't want to give him the satisfaction of knowing how badly he misjudged my worth. "Significantly more than what I make now," I say. "How much more?" 10 grand, 15. He still doesn't get it. He still thinks this is a back and forth. That I'm bluffing. More than that. 20, 30. Come on, Marlene. I can't make a counter if I don't know what we're working with. I don't want a counter offer, Cliff. I've made my decision. That's when it hits him. This isn't a tactic. This isn't a test. It's real. You're serious. Completely. What company? Is it a competitor? You know your contract has a non-compete clause. There it is, the threat. The attempt to guilt me into staying. I've reviewed my contract. This role doesn't violate any restrictions. I haven't looked that closely, to be honest. But I doubt Cliff has either. Marlene, I think you're making a mistake. New jobs are risky. You don't know the team, the culture. You've got security here. Security. With a company that laughed at my raise request, you're part of the team, he says. The same team that skipped me in every promotion cycle. I appreciate that, I say. But my decision's final. What if we revisited your salary now? Not next year, this quarter. Now there's room in the budget. I'm not interested. When's your last day? Friday the 25th. He nods, slow and stunned. And for the first time in 4 years, I'm not the one shrinking in this office. I stand to leave, but Cliff keeps talking. "Just think about it over lunch. Okay, don't rush. We can figure something out." I walk back to my desk, heart racing and lighter than I've felt in years. It's done. I actually did it. Strangely, I don't feel angry. I feel free. The next few days are weird. Word spreads fast. Suddenly, everyone wants to know where I'm going, why I'm leaving, if my new company's hiring. Wednesday, Tamara corners me by the coffee machine. "I heard you're leaving." Wow. "Where to?" "A consulting firm. Local remote." Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I've been trying to get 1 day a week remote for months. What's the pay? Like everyone wants to know about the money. It's like they know this isn't just a job switch. This is a leap, a shift, something bigger. It's a good opportunity, I say. Like how good I've been thinking about leaving, but only if it's worth it. I want to tell her. Tell all of them. The jobs exist where your work actually matters, where your salary reflects your value. But I don't. Because it sounds like bragging, and maybe they wouldn't believe me anyway. Thursday afternoon, Cliff appears at my desk. "Got a minute?" We walk to his office. This time, he closes the door. "I talked to my uncle," he says. "We can offer you $75,000 plus fast track to lead analyst. Your own office. A small team. $75,000. A $13K raise, exactly $1,000 more than I asked for weeks ago. 2 months ago, I'd have cried with gratitude. Now it feels too little too late. I appreciate the offer, Cliff, but I've already accepted another position. You signed a contract of verbal commitment. Verbal isn't binding. What if we went to 80K? That's a 30% raise. You'd be leading projects, $80,000. Still less than the lowest offer I got. It's not about the money anymore, I say quietly. And I mean it, because it's about respect. And he only found it after I was already out the door. That's not entirely true. It is about the money, but it's also about respect and trust and the fact that Cliff only saw my worth once I was walking out the door. What can I do to change your mind? He asks. Name it. And that's when it hits me. He's scared. Really scared. He's done the math. He knows what I carry, the accounts, the systems, the knowledge only I have. There's nothing I say. Friday is my last day, and it is. I spend most of it building handoff docs, training guides, transition emails. It takes me 7 straight hours to capture what I've been managing solo. The Coldwell account, the Logan templates, 3 databases, the entire client dashboard, new hire materials, backup for 2 analysts. No wonder Cliff panicked. At 5 p.m., I pack up my space, a desk plant, a framed photo, a coffee mug from home, and a stapler I bought because the office ones barely worked. It all fits in a single cardboard box. Cliff watches from his doorway. You sure about this, Marlene? I'm sure. What if the new job doesn't work out? You're always welcome back. Thanks, I say. I don't mean it, but some bridges aren't worth burning even if you never plan to walk them again. At 5:47 p.m., I step out of Evercore Logistics for the last time. And on Monday, I step into Tennard and Blackwell. 3 days of onboarding, equipment, introductions. They assign me a buddy, ship me a welcome box, and give me a $2,000 home office stipend. There's even a handwritten note from the CEO. My first paycheck is more than I made in 3 months at Evercore. And here's what no one tells you about revenge. It's not about them. It's about you. Proving you were never asking for too much, just asking the wrong people. 3 weeks and my phone rings. Unknown number, but the area code looks familiar. Marlene, this is Cliff. I almost don't answer, but I do, because I already know why he's calling. What can I do for you, Cliff? He clears his throat. We're having trouble with the Coldwell account. The Q3 reporting requirements changed, and honestly, no one here really understands the dashboard you built. Of course they don't. Sarah's been trying, but she doesn't get pivot tables, let alone layered data visualizations. I documented everything before I left. You did. The notes were great, but there are some client-specific quirks we're stuck on. I wait. He still hasn't asked. I was wondering if you might be available for some consulting work, just a few hours, to help us through this transition. We'd pay your consulting rate. Consulting rate? I don't have one. I've never been a consultant. What's the timeline? We've got a client presentation next Friday, so pretty urgent. I know it's a big ask, but you're the only one who knows this system inside and out. The same system he once said didn't justify a raise. I'll check my schedule and get back to you. Of course. Just let me know soon. We're really in a bind. After the call, I sit in my home office a long time. I could help. I could walk Sarah through it, ensure they don't botch the presentation. It would be the professional thing to do. Or I could let them figure it out. In the end, I text. After reviewing my schedule, I won't be able to take on consulting work at this time. Best of luck. Cliff calls twice after that. I don't answer. 6 months later, I get a LinkedIn message from Jennifer in HR. Hey, Marlene. Hope you're doing well. We're hiring for a senior data strategist, and I immediately thought of you. Would you be open to returning to the Evercore family senior? The title I should have had 2 years ago. I don't respond, because this was never really about revenge. It's about finally seeing yourself clearly. For 4 years, I let them define my worth. Let them convince me that asking for more was unreasonable. But here's the truth. Nobody gets to decide what you're worth except you. Everything starts to change. Not overnight. Not all at once. But slowly, one brave choice at a time. You start updating your resume without shame. You speak up in meetings instead of nodding silently. You stop apologizing for wanting more. And you realize maybe for the first time that you never needed permission to evolve. That was the real shift for me. Not the job title, not the paycheck, but the permission I finally gave myself to outgrow what no longer fit. Because here's the truth, I didn't leave Evercore just to escape a bad manager or a stagnant salary. I left because I outgrew the story they wrote for me. The one where I was reliable but replaceable, skilled but silent. The one where asking for more made me the problem. And if that sounds familiar to you, if you've ever swallowed your voice in a performance review or settled for maybe next year, please hear me. You're allowed to rewrite your story too. I'm not saying it won't be scary. The night before I gave notice, I barely slept. The first morning at my new job, I felt like an imposter with a company-issued laptop. But here's what happened. I grew into it. I showed up, I owned the role, and then some. And every time someone calls me Director Foster, every time a junior analyst asks for mentorship, every time I get invited into rooms I used to be locked out of, I remember that scared, exhausted version of me sitting at her old desk wondering if it was all in her head. It wasn't. If you feel like you're undervalued, you probably are. If you feel like your talent is being wasted, it probably is. And if you're waiting for someone to give you permission to rise, stop. You already have it. And if you ever forget, just come back to this story and remind yourself what happens when you finally choose yourself. You get to decide your worth. And once you truly believe it, not just in your head, but deep in your bones, everything changes. It changes how you walk into meetings, how you talk about your work, how you negotiate, how you take up space in rooms where you once shrank. It changes what you tolerate and what you finally walk away from. I'm not earning $280 and $1,000 a year because I'm lucky or special or because something magical happened. I'm earning it because I stopped underestimating myself. The company I left, they had to hire 3 people to cover what I did alone. And according to a former coworker who still texts me now, and then they're still struggling with the dashboard I built. Cliff, he got promoted to regional director 6 months after I left, which is hilarious considering his region is now underperforming for the first time in 5 years. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well. Sometimes it's knowing that while they're scrambling to replace you, you're building something better with people who see your value before you threaten to leave. And sometimes, when your old boss calls desperate for help with a system he once told you wasn't worth a raise, the sweetest revenge is just saying no. If this story spoke to something in you, if you've ever sat across from a boss who laughed at your worth or stayed in a job that slowly dimmed your light, I want to hear from you. Leave me a comment below. Tell me the moment you knew it was time to walk away. Tell me about the risk you took for yourself, or the one you're still working up the courage to take. Because I promise you, you are not alone. I used to think I was the only one quietly breaking behind a spreadsheet. I know, now there's a whole community of people. Maybe you're one of them who've been undervalued, underestimated, and told to be grateful for crumbs. If you're here rooting for me, know that I'm rooting for you too. And if you're still stuck in a place that doesn't see you, please take this story as a sign that better is out there, that you are worthy of more, and that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Hit that like button, subscribe for more stories like this, and never forget the most powerful thing you'll ever do is stop asking permission.